So, remember we are looking at career as a subtopic to the introduction of entrepreneurship. And of course, making a recap, we said career is any activity one does over a given period of time for his or her survival. Now, after having looked at that, here we go with factors that determine the level of earnings for different careers. The activity that you have chosen to take up, the activity that you have chosen to do, the activity that you'd like to do over a given period of time. What makes you earn more than others? What makes you earn less than others? So we are looking at different factors that may lead to different earnings to different careers, that may make a given career earn more than the other career, or a given career earn less than the other career. So for this matter, we are looking at number one as the nature of the work done. Different activities, different works to be done are paid differently. For example, the work that is done vis-a-vis the other work that is done the other side, they are going to be paid differently, because you may find when this work that is being done here is more hectic than the other work that is done the other side. Or you may find this career is more hectic than the other career. So when we look at it in terms of this casual work, someone who goes to the garden to dig and someone who just sits, these people are paid differently. Remember, the one who sits in an office is a professional. The other one who is given a piece of land to dig is not a professional. So don't expect these two careers to be paid the same way. So the nature of work done determines how much a given career is to be paid. The moment you do a professional work, you are paid differently from the one who is doing unprofessional work. So, the nature of the work done, the work that you are doing, the way it disturbs, the way it is easier, the way it is simple to be done or hard, will determine how much you should be paid. Like for example, if I'm teaching online and the other I'm teaching on the blackboard, we are not the same, because our nature, our way of doing the work is different. So number two, the level of education and training. Of course, we very well know that more educated people earn more than uneducated people. So the level of education training means that the more you go to school, the more you attain papers, the more you earn highly. And the lesser you attain education, the lesser you are paid. When you are looking at degree holders and diploma holders, these two careers are paid differently, because the other one has a bachelor's degree, this one has a diploma, and for that matter, when it comes to payment, the other one who has studied or is studied highly is paid more than this one who has not studied highly. So the level of education and training determines the level of earnings for different careers. The ones who are educated highly are paid more than these ones who are not educated highly. So when you're looking at a career, please make sure that you attain enough education in that career so that you are paid highly. Therefore, this one should be minded most, because if you don't go to school and attain higher education, you will always be paid less. Demand for services offered. Of course, we know demand. Everybody has ever heard of the word demand. So the higher the demand for services offered, the higher the payment. And the lower the demand for services offered, the lower the payment. What does it mean? It means if you went for a career and your services are demanded, are liked, are needed, people will love them, people need them, people want them, they will always pay you highly, because the higher the demand, the higher the payment. And if you know that the services you're offering are not liked, are not wanted, are not demanded, of course, you will not command a higher payment. Take, for example, if you are selling a commodity and the people have lined up, they want to purchase that particular commodity. There are very many. What happens to the prices? You will see the line is long and they are all interested in one and only your product. For that matter, you will increase on the price, because those people will, you will assume that those people have got no option. The demand is higher than the supply. You have less to supply to them. There are many, there are more than what you are supplying. What comes in your mind is to hiken the price. That's why we are saying that the higher the demand for services offered in, the higher the payment. And of course, the lower the demand, of course, we shall see that there is a lower payment. You cannot command a higher pay when your services are not demanded. But when your services are demanded, you command a higher pay, because those people for whom you are providing the services will not have any other option apart from accepting you to provide services to them. So for this matter, we are saying that the demand for services offered determine the level of earnings for different careers. If your career is demanded, of course, you will be paid highly. Like in Uganda, for example, you can see the career of education science department is on demand. That's why the president came out and said, in order to make sure that these people, the teachers, pay with ease and pay willingly, let's increase their pay from 1 million to 4 million per month. You can see that percentage increase. But the reason was not everybody can go for sciences. And that's why sciences are always on demand. But for us who teach arts, they assume we are useless, and yet we are also useful. But in the minds of some people, we look not to be useful, and that is a lie though. But the point here is that the moment a career is on demand, it will always fetch him a higher payment. Then when we look at the next point, entrepreneurs' capacity to pay. Different entrepreneurs have different capacities in terms of paying workers. The moment an entrepreneur has a greater capacity, he or she will always pay higher. And the moment an entrepreneur does not have enough capacity, will always pay less. Where does the capacity come? The capacity comes when the capacity of paying highly comes when the entrepreneur is fetching or making higher profits. If the business is making higher profits, automatically the entrepreneur will have much money on his disposal to pay for his what? For his workers. But the moment the entrepreneur's business is not fetching or making enough profits, of course, the money to his or her disposal will be limited, and this will result to him paying his workers lower pay. Therefore, the higher the capacity of entrepreneur leads to higher payments, and the higher the capacity leads to higher payments, and the lower the capacity leads to lower payments. And I've told you this is as a result of the profits earned by business in a given trading period. Then another point here, we are looking at government policy on wages. Government policy on wages. What does this one mean? It means that sometimes government puts a minimum wage, which should be adopted by all employment agencies. That the government ensures that there is amount of money each worker is at least supposed to be paid, the minimum amount. The amount below which an employee should not be paid. Meaning paying an employee below the set amount, you will have committed a crime. So the higher minimum wages results to higher payments, and a lower minimum wage set by the government results to lower payments. So if the government sets a higher minimum wage, like for example it says each teacher should not be paid below 1 million, that one is a higher minimum wage. But if it says a teacher should not be paid below 300,000, that one is a lower minimum wage. So the higher the minimum wage, the higher the payment for different careers, and of course it is vice versa, where we shall say the lower the minimum wage set by the government, the lower payments. The lower the payments that are received by employees. But of course we are looking at it in terms of different careers. Teaching as a career may have its minimum wage, and nursing as a career may have its minimum wage, and engineering as a career may have its minimum wage, and so on and so forth. So different careers, we have different minimum wages are set by the government. And of course we are saying that if, even though it is in different careers, what we are looking at and what we are interested in seeing is the government increasing on the minimum wage. The higher the minimum wage, the higher the payment for different careers, and the lower the minimum wage, of course, the lower the payment. So we need to pray that our government increases on the minimum wage. And when we look at this minimum wage, we are not only looking at the government paying workers. No, it may set this minimum wage that all employment agencies must follow, not only the government parastatals, but also even these private institutions, private companies have to follow. That if you are a private teacher, you earn the same way government teacher does what? And that is in case the government decides to centralize that. Then we are looking at a bit of people with the required skills. Ask yourself, what happens if there are many people with the same with the required skills? There are many people with the required skills. What happens? It means the wages will reduce, the payments will reduce because their demand will be low. Why? They are very many. You need teachers of entrepreneurship, and you advertise you need only 3, but 1,000 people apply. It means there are very many teachers, and because there are very many, the wages are not going to increase. The payments are going to reduce because the people are many. But in case the people with the required skills are minimal, they are very few, they are not there, they are not enough. Those few who are there will demand higher wages, and it means that the higher, the more the availability of people with the required skills, the lower the payments, and the inadequacy of the people with the required skills results into higher payments for those few who will be there. Like in football, you find a football team with very many players, but only 1 or 2 with the required skills, like Kylian Mbappe of Paris Saint-Germain is the highest paid player in the world. Why? He possesses the skills that other people do not possess. But if we had very many players like Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo in a team, it automatically means that the payments would not be as more as those gentlemen. And so the more the people with the required skills, the lower the payments, and the lesser the people with the required skills, the higher the payments. Now we look at yet another, the level of economic development in the country. Of course, this one means the extent to which the economy is developed, the extent to which the economy has the capacity to pay its wages. So if the economy is developed well, its workers or people with different careers are paid highly because the country, the economy has got the capacity to pay them. And of course, if the economy is underdeveloped, automatically we say that there is no money, or the money is not enough to pay the workers, hence resulting to lower payments for these careers. And of course, lastly but not least, we are looking at the level of expertise, the experience that is possessed by the employee, the experience that is possessed by the career holder. The higher the experience, automatically the higher the payment. And the lower the experience, the lower the payment. Someone with a higher expertise will always demand higher payments, and someone with a lower expertise will always be paid less. So these are some of the factors that determine the level of earnings for different careers, who is supposed to be paid highly and who is supposed to be paid less, which career demands higher payments and which career demands lower payments, or which situations may result into higher payments and which situations may result into lower payments. Here we go in the next session and look at something else as regards career is concerned.